Greetings. This is a um, ministry update in fall of 2023 for our Passport partners. And it's you guys that are with us month after month and helping sustain this ministry. Without you, things would be a lot harder. And with you, we're able to look to the next season and reach for the next goal and really continue working to move this ministry forward. And so we thank you and appreciate you. And we just want to really do better and better at working to communicate and let you know what's going on, because we really are in this together. One of the things that I always like to do, I start out each board meeting this way, is just reminding us of what we're after, what we're about. The first is our vision is to see disciple-making initiatives in global cities around the world, starting in North America. The three things that we do as a ministry: we're doing grassroots evangelism, just life on life, reaching out to people. We're planting simple churches, that is, house churches, things like that, or small groups. And so it might be like just a small group Bible study. It may be something that really evolves into a house church. But what we're planting is communities of discipleship. That's what we're after. The second thing we're doing is we're coaching believers to make disciple makers. The first few years of Global City Mission, we really just kind of coached up people that fell in our lap. But for about the last 3 years, we've been running an online cohort of 7 sessions that trains on healthy conversational evangelism practices, and then what it might look like to start a discovery group in someone's own community. The third thing we do is equipping existing churches to reach their communities. So we've been doing evangelism trainings and helping churches to equip their members and to reach out right where they are in ways that are really healthy and effective, and it really respects the person they're trying to reach, while helping them to be a little bolder at reaching out and connecting with others. And that impulse really comes out of a sense that, one, if our ministry is about disciple making, then that needs to be all hands on deck. So that's both direct reaching out through our missionary workers. That's also helping equip others and mobilize others, activating the larger church. But it also comes out of an impulse of realizing that Global City Mission, we live out our ministry at the missionary edges of our society. And so we really share a responsibility to bring that back, what we're learning, back to local churches as well. So one of the things that I wanted to do is, as I shared this update with you, is I just looked back at the monthly update of September. So I get a monthly update from everybody on our team of just what's going on in ministry, just to kind of stay in the loop and get a sense of what's happening and communicate together. And so I just pulled out some of the things that were shared just from September's update, just to share with you guys, just give you a sense of some of the things that are going on. And of course, there's seasons and ministries that are slower than others, but there's periods you go through where you just see lots of little breakthroughs happening, and that gets exciting. And it felt like there was some of those, at least in September's monthly update. So I want to share some of those with you. So the first one, just from September's monthly ministry update, was a young woman from Taiwan. At first she showed no interest in learning from the Bible, but then she had an encounter with Christians during a trip to New York. She's living in Phoenix, but went on a trip to New York, an encounter with Christians. So when she returned to Phoenix, she went back and connected with the mission callus that had first shared with her and asked about learning about Jesus. And so she's entered into some relationships now there, and engaging in the gospel and learning about the story of Jesus and the offer to follow him. There's a young Muslim man from a Middle Eastern country here in Tampa that is wrestling with the possibility of Christian faith after experiencing a dream. The mission callus connected to him shared the dream, and it turned out that one of our other mission callus in a different city with another Muslim contact from a different country of origin had the same dream at an earlier period. And so we were talking through that. There was some Bible references you could really connect with the dream. And so he went back and shared some more with his friend, and there's a real wrestling going on. And it takes time. It's not an overnight process. But we're just excited to see God work in ways here that we've heard about in many places around the world. A Mexican neighbor who previously refused the offer of a Bible study later began reading his Bible and entering into gospel conversations with the mission catalyst. But this was a year after that first initial sharing. It's just another one of those stories of planting seeds, and you're still around, and so the person reconnects with you, or maybe he's been connected with you, but now is just ready to have those conversations. And this is pretty normal, and both this story and the first story just really illustrates the importance of having that missionary presence, people that are they're gonna plug into an area, into a city, they're gonna work and labor there and spend some years. I know in the 15 years that I was in New York City in the Bronx, there was people I'd meet, and you share with them, you plant some seeds, and then they pop up again 3, 4, sometimes 5 years later. And maybe people you had been seeing, but they pop up again in terms of being ready to have the conversation again. And so we're seeing some of that happen, really as the current iteration of this team, just 2 or 3 years in, is beginning to see some of these kind of things take place. A neighbor in a tough Philadelphia community where a mission catalyst and his family also live, asked the missionary if she could come over and join them for house church. And then the following week she did. And it had been a long time since she had really been a part of something like that. There's a group of about 10 believers that went on a short-term mission trip, and they came back and they said, now what? And which is great because you don't want it to end there when someone goes and makes a trip where they learn things and see new things and are excited about their discoveries. So they're connected to a mobilization catalyst, and mobilization catalyst said, "Yeah, let's gather together. We'll have a discovery Bible discussion, and continue to ask that question. How is Jesus leading? Now what?" As they go deeper into being part of God's mission and what that means for their life. And so it's exciting to be able to do that and help mobilize a group of believers that really are asking those kind of questions. So one of the things that we're in the middle of is transition in our operations. Administrative support has always been one of our challenges. We've never been very strong administratively since starting Global City Mission. We started out with volunteer help, and then it was not going to be one of my great strengths. And then we brought on somebody who could definitely put some things in place and have some things on his radar that was stronger than me. And he continues to be part of this team and is transitioning to areas of greater passion of mobilization and partnership building and things like that. And we met Dawn, and she was interested in serving a mission organization through administrative help, and so we're excited to bring her on. She's currently talking to potential partners to help fund her ministry with us, um, and is beginning to learn the systems, administrative systems within Global City Mission. And so really pray for this to be without obstacles, without barriers, for her to have a smooth transition, to learn quickly, for nothing to get in the way, for partners to join her financially. We just really pray for us, because this is an area of much needed help, because this empowers everything else we do. And so we really do need this help and this transition to continue, and we're right in the middle of it, and just pray that it does progress, well, and just join us in prayer over that. Something that's in the works that we really have been laboring on is we're planning a South Asian initiative in Atlanta, and we're targeting summer 2024. That's the target. And Atlanta is one of the fastest growing South Asian communities in the United States. And so we've already interviewed and vetted a couple that would be coming over from India. And they've spent a lot of time in their life already learning about, researching, doing formal academic research, missionary research on Indian immigration and the impact of globalization and migration on South Asians and the middle class. And they've been learning these things and have really been carrying a heart, carrying a burden for mission field of reaching their own countrymen beyond their borders. And so we're working to bring them to Atlanta. There's two primary hurdles that are there. Of course, we want to pray for the harvest that is before us in terms of reaching out in Atlanta. But if you would also pray with us for the funding that's needed. And so that's one part of it. But I tell you, the part that I find the most challenging as I think it through is we're beginning the process of filing for the religious worker visa. And to me, the government powers are unpredictable. And so that's where we really want to pray for favor. We want to pray for open doors. We want to pray for God just to knock that door down, swing it wide open. And then all we have to worry about is the funding. And to me, that's an issue. That's a challenge, of course. And we want to pray for that. Do pray with us for that. And we're talking to different church partners and things, but potential partners. But that first hurdle is that religious worker visa process. So we just pray that we have favor. I'm going to be setting aside some days, not only for prayer, but for fasting over this in the coming months. And that's something that I invite you to do with me. One of the things that we've been working on, I've been working on with our board of directors, is a campaign in 2024, we want to add 100 new monthly passport partners, and all we're asking for is $24 a month. And that can really add up if we meet that goal. And so we would ask you to pray for God to grant favor, to add partners. But also, if you know someone whose heart would resonate with what Global City Mission does, please introduce them. If some of those first stories that I told from the September monthly update, if some of those resonate with you and capture your heart and get your attention, and you can think of someone else that, man, they would love to hear about this kind of stuff, they would love to be part of this, please introduce them to this ministry. We are looking to just really grow our funding base. There's so much more that we need to do. Our dreams really outstrip our current capacity. And so I've had to just really focus a lot more of my attention going into this year on building up our funding. That's where we are. And I'm kind of excited about it, because this sounds funny maybe, but I'm excited about tackling this because I'm tired of just feeling like we just don't quite have enough. There's often holes in when I do our budget reports for the board. You can see some of that deficit, and we always live in the black. Like, we're not going to spend what we don't either have or what we believe based on partnership commitments is coming in. So we don't do loans. We're not doing debt. We're spending what we have, but there just needs to be more in place for us to be able to really keep moving this forward. And so pray with us for this campaign, because a lot of people out there could pitch in $24 a month, and we get enough of them that really adds up. And so that's just one part of the strategy. There's other pieces of our strategy of moving development forward for Global City Mission and increasing the funding. But this is one part of the strategy we feel like that everybody can help with. Because most of us are going to know someone who could pitch in $24 a month. And so we just want to put that before you. And if you can help with that, pass the word, that would be fantastic. And we really would appreciate it a lot. And it's a wonderful way to help serve this ministry, is to increase that base of partners. Some more things to pray for. You may or may not have heard that back in, I believe it was June, so some months back, Dave, one of our workers in Phoenix, had a stroke. And so prior to suffering from the stroke, Dave was leading like 5 discovery Bible groups. And then while in rehab, he still had 3 different Bible studies going, people traveling him to the hospital to meet him and talk with him and open the Bible with him. And he is gradually transitioning back. He's progressing well. The forecast is positive, but it's hard. It takes some time, and he's beginning to step back into ministry, but he's still doing rehab. So that takes a lot of effort, a lot of time. So he needs prayer for ongoing work of healing. Pray that he heals extraordinarily fast, miraculously fast, and that he's able to continue to engage. He's really beginning to step back into ministry, even though he never really left it, except for maybe just a very short period there in the hospital. But even in the rehab facility he was in, he had people coming to him for Bible study. So pray for Dave and for his ongoing recovery. Donovan is someone who is in our pre-field pipeline. So this means someone is approved as a missionary candidate who's going to work as a mobilization catalyst with Global City Mission, but that means someone who's not yet started. And the reality is, in any mission organization, people that are in that pre-field pipeline, not everybody lands, but of course we want to work towards everybody landing. Everybody getting into a city and getting that work going. We got word recently that he was undergoing heart surgery, and he's in recovery and he's resting. We don't really know what this means for his future with this mission. He's a young man, but we ask you to pray for him. And so lift him up in prayer, pray for recovery and healing. And I do pray that he'll be able to move forward and to serve with us in the future. But of course, the most important thing, just pray for his recovery and his healing. So one of the things that we're kind of excited about, we talked about how we do church equipping, trying to help churches, and we do that oftentimes through a workshop format on evangelism. We do like a 3-hour workshop on healthy practices of evangelism with church members. But another thing we've done is we put together kind of a bigger package where we take a lot of our training, put it together, and then we offer meeting with the staff or elders or leadership, or depending on how that church is led. We'll meet with them, that leadership as well, for some initial training and then ongoing coaching conversations. And then we'll come into the church and do 3 or 4 trainings for the church as a whole. And that's a package we put together for churches. We're only going to do 1 or 2 of those at a time, because it does take some energy, obviously, to pour into that. But really trying to help some churches get stronger where they are. We'll really give them some time and attention and help them move forward in mission. So we put together these pieces of training and to really further the mission, and we've coupled that with ongoing coaching for leadership. And we've been doing the first one. I just got back yesterday from the third out of 4, 3 of 4. The third on-site visit to that church, and was doing some training for them on how to start discovery Bible discussion groups. And this is training for churches that is sourced from our lived experience on mission in cities. And so that's the source of what we've learned from, and then bringing that and helping train people to connect with their own communities. So we've just begun the first one of that. It's outside of Atlanta, near Athens. We're doing that training, and we're pretty excited about it. And it looks like there's some potential for some groups to get started through some of the members there, and it's great stuff. While that's going on, we're actually in conversation for scheduling the second one of these. So there'll be a couple months of overlap, and we'll schedule, again, we won't do more than a couple of these at a time, but this one will have some overlap with the first one. And this will be the second coaching partnership, and this is in the process of being scheduled, and this one will be in Orlando. And so it won't take quite as much time, which is why we were able to overlap these, because there's no flying involved. We already have a worker in Orlando. There'll be one of the coaches, and then I'm right here in Tampa up the road. So what is normally a weekend, including flying, will now be a day trip. So we're able to overlap these two experiences together that way. Schedule is still demanding, but it's definitely doable. So we're excited about these that are unfolding, and how we can help these churches really transition towards a more of a kind of a missionary posture towards their communities. And then one of the final things I'd really just want to encourage you guys to share with us. One of the things that I've worked on, and that a lot of this has been just me working kind of as the in the leadership role of the ministry, and something that eventually I'll pass on as we get maybe to someone else in kind of stronger communications role freed up, is ramping up our social media posting. Since the beginning of September, we've probably had something on at least one of our platforms every day. Most of it's on Instagram and Facebook, some on LinkedIn, but we've had something posted every day. We've had some new stuff come up on YouTube, some reels, things like that. And so the thing we'd look for help with is, would you invite your friends to follow? Like, get on the page, and that little button where that says invite your friends, get on there and invite them, or send it out to friends. Say, hey, come follow this page, especially people would resonate with this ministry, because we're just simply looking to grow our audience. Our Facebook's been around a little while. It's good to keep growing that too, obviously. But our Instagram, we've really only been trying to grow that recently. We know that's going to be how we have more audience with the younger generation, and so really looking to add a lot of people to that as well. And so one thing to do is just invite your friends to follow Global City Mission on these platforms. But another is, as you know, people that might really resonate with some of the messages coming out of this ministry, just share posts with others, pass them on. One of the things we've talked about within our board of directors is they'll be checking on a weekly basis, just checking our social media platforms. And then they may not share every single thing that's posted, but they'll grab this one or grab that one and send it on to people or share with on their page. Certain posts they know will resonate with others. And so this is something that we would want to encourage and just invite you to help us do this, because this is a way just to continue to grow the audience. Social media is not the solution for all things or the magic wand that we're waving or anything like that. But we recognize it's just one more way to kind of continue pushing out the vision and casting it for people and getting the attention of people and starting conversations with folks that really may want to be part of a mission like this, whether that's joining the team or being part of a training or becoming a financial partner or passport partner. Whatever role that they may play, maybe more than one role, it's just a way to continue to get the word of mouth going, and that's a lot of what it is. It's the modern day word of mouth, and so if you will help us with that, that would be fantastic. That's just some things that you can be praying about, some ways that you can take part to kind of help us continue to pass the word and see this ministry grow. You are helping sustain this ministry, but if you are able in a position to help this ministry grow in its reach, that is something that is really valuable at this stage in our development as a ministry. Global City Mission is working to be catalytic. We want to start chain reactions for the gospel. We want to plant seeds and water seeds and see God work in ways that transform lives, that bring people to the feet of Jesus. And we want to empower people and mobilize and activate people that go and serve God and part of his mission way beyond our reach. And we want to reach people that may not have otherwise been reached with the gospel. We're about starting chain reactions. It's life on life. It's people that are reaching, mobilizing, evangelizing, teaching, mentoring, coaching people. We're a network of people that are engaging other people from all kinds of different backgrounds, and so we're excited to be that ministry and to make a difference in God's kingdom and his mission, and we are all a part of it together. So thanks so much for your partnership, for just being with us on this journey, and any of the ways that you might be able to help. And if you have other ideas, please reach out to me, Jared Looney at globalcitymission.org, and would love to talk more and see what we can continue to do together. Thanks so much.